Okay, so this one's on the detailing I did on the EFE London Transport bus, the RT. This shot is taken in South Street in Romford, probably early 70s. Really lovely atmospheric photo. Been in touch with a photographer recently as well. He's used to live in Romford, now lives up sort of north of England way. So
that's interesting. That's one of the rare RTWs.
Oh, it is. Yes, you're right. Yeah, yeah. Right. So the base model was this EFE bus, which is pretty basic. The most hideous thing about it really is the finish, the real red gloss finish. Pretty hideous. So the first thing to do is to take the bus apart. It's quite brutal, but it involves drilling out the rivets at the front and at the back. I drilled out partially and I used a soldering iron to sort of get to the last bit. They're actually plastic sort of caps on the bottom that come off fairly easy. You just have to be very careful with the one on the back, because if you go too far, you start damaging the platform at the back of the bus. You remove these two poles as well, because they're visible through the model and won't be used in the finished article. And then I removed the transfers just with some T-cut and primed the body just using basic Halford spray paint. This is the interior, all painted. The figures are Prizer, really good detailed figures, and because they're HO, they tend to fit a lot better as well. Some of the figures have to be anglicised, including the driver and the conductor. You can see him there with the London Transport uniform and his clippy. So this is the finish on the bus. This is a Tamiya matte red finish, works quite well, and you get rid of all that gloss finish, so it's a far better finish. So although I purchased the bus for about £8, all the transfers on the bus were a sort of eye-watering £30. But these you can buy unique to the route you want, and Fox transfers are very good, quite easy to apply. The detail on them is really good. I also fitted new handrails to the back of the bus. This is 0.3mm brass. The EFE handrail, main handrail, is far too thick, so therefore that had to be changed as well. And this one at the rear of the bus, this was moulded into the body, so the old handrail had to be filed off and this new handrail fitted. I also fitted a flush glazing at the rear of the bus here, because on the EFE model, when you look through the platform, you could see it, and it was quite thick. It was a sort of size of National Health glasses. It was so thick. Just a little touch of weathering, just a light spray along the bottom of the bus onto the tyres as well. I also fitted some wing mirrors from plasticard and brass, and the indicators were plasticard as well. Fox also did flush glazing for the front. Unfortunately, they didn't do flush glazing for the rest of the bus, but the front looks quite good. Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, so having taken those rivets out and the securing poles, how do you put the bus back together?
It's just simply glued back together.
Okay.
Yeah, it fits quite well. Obviously, you don't have that securing through the body, but I just super glued the top half to the bottom half.
Okay, good, because I've got one to do for mine, so that's
Any
very
specific glue? What was this? What glue did you use?
I used 806.
Oh, right. Okay, Loctite type.
Yeah.
Stuff. Yeah.
Pretty good. It's quite fluid rather than the other stuff, the magic stuff. It's quite gummy. It's quite unusual with the bus. It's in two parts. I mean, most model vehicles are, you know, just one part. But yeah, getting rid of that centre pole was essential, because you'll see that it's hideous.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I must admit, those buses bring back memories for me, because I was working in Harold Hill at the time.
Right, well, there you go. That's where that one's going. But that's what I say about the Fox transfers. You know, you can buy them for, they do loads and loads of routes. Probably even for the out of country stuff as well, Tim.
Right.
Worth looking at.
So, Tim, have you got Green Line stuff going on for yours?
No, the Green Line didn't come into the station yard. It was just the Thames Valley traction.
Yeah. Oh, right.
So I've got a double-decker Bristol and a single-decker Bristol, which I've got the models of. But I think they might be EFE as well.
Low-decker versions.
The double-decker's a low-decker, and then there's a single-decker as well.
Right. Oh, okay. Oh, that'd be interesting.
Two buses, and in fact, Model U do a nice bus crew as well.
Yes.
Driver and Clippy.
Yeah. My next vehicle, for those that remember it, is it's a coal lorry from Charrington's.
Oh yeah.
So like a Bedford coal lorry, which I've converted from, you know, I think it was a Billy Smart Circus lorry, and now converting it to Charrington. So yeah, I quite enjoy them, because they don't tend to take long. You know, and you can get a lot of satisfaction very quickly.
Good.
They've done all the hard work by getting the cabs right for you. So rebuilding bodies is fairly straightforward.
Yeah. And the EFE and all the die-cast models now are really good. So there's not a lot to do on them, to be fair. It's just taking the gloss finishes off. On the parcels lorry that I did, just simple spray with some matte acrylic spray, it improves it knowing.
Did you take any paint off for the original, or did you spray over it?
Just sprayed over it. Yeah. That would have been. I did discuss that with the members prior to doing it, and we were talking about using what's the cleaning fluid.
Oh, we did, didn't we? Didn't Ted Smell do it? One of his.
Possibly, yeah.
What did he use?
What's the I think comes in like a brown liquid.
Yeah. No, it wasn't Dettol, was it?
Yeah, it was Dettol.
Dettol. Yeah, that seems to be becoming quite common.
Yeah. But to be honest, once the primer's on, you don't lose a lot of detail. And because I airbrushed it as well, once again, you don't lose a lot of the detail.
That's good.
You say that the front and the rear glass were Fox products. They're in their range, are they?
The front ones was, but the rear one was I had to cut myself.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah. For some reason, they don't do the rest of the windows.
Yeah, it's a pity, isn't it? Because they do, those front windows made a big difference.
Yeah, I suppose at the end of the day, I could have individually cut out the glasses and done the rest of it. But, yeah.
You could laser cut them, I guess.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, the way I did it for the parcels rail cars, I got some label paper, so sticky label paper, held that firmly against the window aperture, and with a very sharp pencil then drew round the aperture, then cut that out with a pair of scissors, peeled it off and stuck it on the acrylic, and then cut around that. So you're pretty close to the right size, and then just a little bit of filing got it to the right size. So
there is the problem with super gluing the two hulls back together again. I can't retrofit that now.
No.
Can I just close this meeting, close the live session down? Gary, thanks very much indeed for that. Very interesting session. I'm sure we can take quite a lot away from that. I'm not into buses myself, but purely because in O gauge they can become very big units. but very interesting session. So thank you very much indeed. And I'll now bring this session to a live session to a close. So thanks very much indeed.